Greetings, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this. So, I have two clips I do want to play. The first clip is, the KKK posting flyers around in a lot of neighborhoods. I think it's about 4 or 5 different states. I know it's like, no, I know for sure Ohio. That was one of them. I'm gonna speak more about that in a minute. But I think one of them, I think they said Missouri, but we're gonna find out as I play this clip right here. Reason why this is going to be the first clip because the second one I'm gonna play is more to do with the neo-Nazi incident that happened that was probably well over a month ago, maybe a month and a half or so. But something it seems like now a little more actions being taken, not even by the officers, the police, none of that. It's by the people themselves. So that's good to see. But again, I said this in one of the other videos that it's a shame that something bad has to happen for the black community to come together because we can't just already be together beforehand because we, like, honestly, the black community, they be hating on each other or be at each other's necks or they just ignore each other. They want to help one another out. But that's not what this video is about right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and play these two clips. Let's go ahead and start the first one.
I found it this morning when I came over, and it was like literally laying next to my car.
Bonnie was visiting her sister's house in Bellevue when she got out of the car and saw something in the snow.
There was one in her street and one in her neighbor's yard.
She flipped it over and it was a flyer with "Leave Now, Avoid Deportation" on it. Under that, info for KKK groups in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania.
It's very scary.
Alright, so I was wrong about that one statement when I said where. Well, yeah, I did see it. If you go back and then try to look at it while she was holding the paper, it did shows like the contact info, so they had to blur it out, obviously. But it was just passed around before. Well, then they say send $1 to this for an informational packet. It seems like they're trying to and they have something in mind or just want to mess around and play. And you saw what happened. It seemed like no punishment was made towards that group, and they just got away with it. So that's probably why they're doing this, because they're like, oh, they're not gonna do nothing to us, so let's just go ahead and then see what else they do. So I think they're just testing limits on how far they can go before the police can actually like react. Because most likely they might not do anything. That's why the second clip on my I'm gonna play in a bit after this one. I'm not gonna play this full one. Just probably like about other minute more. But it just seems like they're just seeing the limits on what they can do, and then they also want to see the reaction of those communities when they do these flyers and stunts and whatnot. So let's continue on. Continue on with the video.
Groups in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, and Pennsylvania.
It's very scary to see something like that.
Now, these flyers haven't just been found in Bellevue, they've been reported in Ludlow, Fort Wright, and this one was found in Fort Mitchell.
Completely flabbergasted when I saw that. 15 years doing this, I've never seen anything like this.
Bellevue Police Chief John McClain first heard about this Monday. A handful of other sightings have been reported. Chief McClain says he's reached out to the FBI.
Sent an email to the agent in charge of the Covington office just to let them know that some of this propaganda is making its rounds.
McClain says the flyers were randomly dropped.
It looked like a lot of them were just found on the ground, like maybe people are just dropping them or dumping them somewhere for others to find.
These folks go around dumping flyers out in the community to arouse the community.
Bowles doesn't think the flyers are.
Yeah, that's one of the many reasons why they're probably doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the next clip right here. So this one's about the community that went through the neo-Nazis. Say he's starting to step up and protecting their own community. So that is good. It's good.
Turn now to one community in Ohio, which is now the center of a growing national debate about civil rights, hate speech, and the Second Amendment. NBC News correspondent and NBC News Now daily anchor Morgan Radford visited the town of Lincoln Heights, where residents have formed an armed community defense group in the wake of a neo-Nazi rally. Morgan joins us now. You were there just on Tuesday. What did the residents tell you about what's going on?
Yeah, I was there just this week. John, it was fascinating because what's interesting is that this town was founded during the Great Migration back in the 20s as a refuge for black citizens, which is why it was especially painful when neo-Nazis suddenly appeared in this 3,000-person majority black town. But they decided to fight back, taking up arms and patrolling their own streets. Now they're at the center of a much larger debate about protection and free speech and who gets it.
These aren't police officers or soldiers.
They're business owners, their fathers, their sons, daughters.
These are civilians, members of the Lincoln Heights Safety and Watch program.
It's a duty. Okay, let's go.
The duty, protecting their neighborhood, the majority black village of Lincoln Heights, Ohio. After neo-Nazis held a rally here last month, carrying rifles, waving swastikas, and hurling racial slurs, just moments before children were let out of school. At the time,
See, and that's crazy. It was out there speaking hate speech. They're like the purposely cause commotion. And then the police didn't really do nothing about it. They just tell us like, okay, disperse, leave. No, it seems like no charges was made. Even like you even got this dude's face. Like everyone kept their mask on, and then like the officers didn't even actually like take off their mask and had no issues with them carrying weapons. Got mask on, and then they purposely doing it to antagonize like the community out there. And like what I also noticed, like because I know I reacted to this the whole thing. And this dude, he just took off his mask just cause he wanted to get his dog, and then like, gets his car and dog. And then the officers, like the officer there, he even mentioned or asked, like, no, remove your mask because like these dudes have guns. They was protesting, like, well, it's not really a protest, but they was there, just spewing hate speech and purposely trying to get like cause commotion. And police didn't really do nothing about it, just tell them to pack up and leave.
law enforcement officials said the neo-Nazis
that's
did not
crazy.
break any laws, but an investigation by county prosecutors is ongoing.
Yeah, you break it. I mean, that's a hate crime. I don't know what they talking about.
Weeks later, the KKK came with these flyers.
And what they did was unlawful, though. That's the like. So what they did was just unlawful, and then on top of that, hate crime. They're like brandishing their weapons. You didn't even see if they got permits for those and stuff like that, but it's good.
First African American community above the Mason-Dixon line of staff.
Safety and Watch Group spokesperson Durrance Daniels says the police did not do enough, which was more chilling because the town was founded in the 1920s as a safe haven for black residents.
Lincoln Heights is our home. If somebody broke into your home, you call the police, and the police says, if they do it again, we haven't broken any law, so we're just going to allow them to break into your home again. What would you do?
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction, create more danger?
I'll answer that by saying I've never felt safer as a black man in my community than I have right now.
The mayor of Even
Yeah, that's saying something. If the police aren't going to protect you, what are you supposed to do? If the police, it's the police job to protect you, protect and serve. If they're not doing that, then what other choice do you have? It's either you let people go, get over you, and then they do what they want, or you have to protect yourself. It's like those are really your two options. Just either let them do what they want, and then you possibly get harmed in any way, or you have to protect yourself or your loved ones, family. It's like you're not doing no commotion or whatnot, no purposely trying to antagonize people, hurt them, go in their community and you're not doing none of that. So, but I want to hear that question once more.
Break into your home again. What would you do?
Are you worried at all?
We haven't broken any law, so we're just going to allow them to break into your home again. What would you do?
See, what would you do? So breaking your house, and then nothing happened, and then they do it again. Nothing's gonna happen, but they're in your place. You gotta protect yourself. I do know that you're supposed to match the same force of what they do. Apparently, so it's like, for example, if someone come to your house, if they're just there for stealing, then you can't shoot them, even though you're standing your ground, and they're in yard, they broke in. Like you have to match the their level apparently. So if they coming at you with a weapon, then you do have a right to shoot. But if they're just trying to steal, and they're unarmed, and they're behind their back, just like no stealing, like maybe they still trying to steal one of these, and then I just go shoot him because he's just face down, he's looking this way, trying to take one of these. I shoot him, then I will go to jail for that because I wasn't matching the hostility level or the same level they was presenting. Laws are kind of weird because even though they say like standing your ground laws and other laws about people coming in, it's your own house, your own domain. Yeah, you can't just shoot them though. It's like even though it's out there, there's still never. I can't say loopholes because it's more. It's like you can't. It's just limitations. There's a lot of limitations. They say that you can do this and that, but then there's limitations on what you can do and when you can do it. So let me say that.
Are you worried at all that having a potentially armed response could just create more friction?
And I think no. Because if you're armed, then you're just protecting yourself just in case if something goes down. So most likely, if they know that you're armed, they're not going to mess with you because it seems like they purposely did that because they knew nothing was going to happen. Worst case scenario is like, oh, we just going to have to leave. That's it. So if they know that the community themselves are armed and then they're not going to rely on the police, most likely they're not going to come back because they're not trying to die. Unless they're really stupid, but if we're talking about logically here, most likely it's a less of a chance of them coming back because they're armed than them not being armed.
Create more danger.
Statement to NBC News, the mayor of Evendale, which oversees the police force that responded that day, said in a statement to NBC News, "Our emphasis on de-escalation and public safety resulted in the incident's resolution without injuries to any of the persons involved."
They also didn't do no citations. Like they didn't no injuries. I give you that, but no citations, no jail time, nothing. No, like, they didn't really get names like that. You just let them go. They even knew what the hotel they was gonna be in because it was like, oh, we're gonna be at this hotel here and whatnot. So they didn't do nothing. Like, yeah, you didn't do no injury, but you also didn't do your job. So.
But residents here say they can't afford to wait. Every day, the Safety and Watch group escorts children to school and patrols the streets.
Why do you all wear masks?
Those Nazis, we have reports of them finding our backgrounds, so we're not hiding ourselves from the residents, but we're protecting our family from what we're doing out here.
While many locals do.
I mean, they should have asked that with the neo-Nazis. Why did they have masks? Because they don't want to get caught seen, or if they're just like, for example, at work, or maybe just at a hotel or a gathering, eating lunch. They're gonna go up to him and be like, "Yo, you're the one who was up there," and then they're gonna press him about that. So I don't know why she would ask that. That was quite a stupid question, but let's continue.
Do support the security group. Some, like business owner Eric Ruffin, say they wish the group wasn't needed.
We don't want to become what we hate. We don't want to become a group of people that walk around feeling like we have a reason in America to have to protect ourselves.
And
I don't really get what he said. Like, I don't get what he's saying, honestly. Because not even in America, it's like you're always gonna have to protect yourself just in case something goes down because there's gonna be a reason why someone's gonna go after you. Maybe they are like, just a quick example, someone probably just need money for whatever reason, maybe to help someone or get food, but they might try to rob you, and then yeah, you have the right to protect yourself. So what he said is kind of stupid, and I don't really get it because I don't know why would anyone hate on someone or hate of a community protecting themselves from any harm or danger because that's unwanted. So, but let me just replay that. Maybe I'm misunderstanding of what he's trying to say.
Wasn't needed.
We don't want to become what we hate. We don't want to become a group of people that walk around feeling like we have a reason in America to have to protect ourselves.
And
maybe he meant something else. Because we're like I feel like you have a right to protect yourself, and I feel like no one should hate that they feel that way because you should protect what you love. But let's continue on with the video.
And this community
Stand up.
Stand up.
is not backing down.
We contacted the mayor of Evendale's office, and they say that prosecutors are looking at body camera footage of the neo-Nazi rally to see if any criminal
They said that the last time when it was released that it was gonna look that up. It's been way too long.
charges could be filed. But meantime, the Hamilton County Sheriff is also calling on state lawmakers to pass legislation making it a crime to wear a mask with the purpose of intimidation while open carrying, guys.
So
it seems like they just did it now because blacks started to do that, because they wasn't saying that. They wasn't really saying that with the neo-Nazis. And some security, they be like carrying a open weapon with a mask on. So it just seems like all of a sudden that black community does it. It's like, oh, we got to make that illegal, because they're not brandishing it or they're not showing it like, oh, we're gonna shoot you. Like, no, we're gonna do this if we see you looking suspicious. They're not really doing that. They just having it like just protecting the people, serving them. Something that the police should be doing. So they're just doing their job. They're not going up to no one just to harm them, but they are protecting what's theirs.
Morgan, let me ask you, one of the people you interviewed there, a young man, said he's never felt safer in his community than he does now. So this could have an impact nationwide, things like this. I mean, there is a contagion factor in safety. People always seek it. What did the mayor or anybody that you spoke to think about the contagion factor?
Before she answered, I was going to say it should be like that because the police honestly don't. They're not there when most people need them. They always respond pretty late. They pick and choose what they can do, even though it's like you should be doing your job, but they just at that moment sometimes they just pick and choose on what they want to do or feel like doing. And most of these officers don't even know like the law. Like there is a lot of videos where officers they just think they know it all, and then if you show them like, no, oh, you can't be doing this, it's illegal. They be like, no, I know the law. I ain't like. So it's like, at least this way, a community's protecting what's theirs, and they're just trying to avoid any harm. So I see nothing wrong with that, and I feel like that's good. But let me go back a
There's a
bit.
contagion factor in safety. People always see.
But again, I think this should spread out through like the black community all over, especially within the U.S. This should spread out because it seems like the police they're not doing their job, and then we just got to pick up what they're clearly not doing.
Seek it. What did the mayor or anybody that you spoke to think about the contagion factor?
Durance, I don't want to speak for him, but after my conversation with him, I feel like I could confidently say he would say the contagion factor has already happened. Because when I asked, is this a reaction to a local moment or a national movement? And he said, look at January 6th. He said, you already have people felt emboldened to come here locally because of what they saw nationally. If you can hang from the building of the hallowed halls of the Capitol and then be pardoned, not be prosecuted, why don't you think you can come to a small village of African Americans, only 3,000 people?
Morgan, does the group have any real authority? But as long as they stay within the confines of the law, they should be okay.
It's a great question. You know, I asked that basically, are you stopping cars when they come in because you think someone looks suspicious? Is that, profiling in its own sort of way? And they said, no. We are patently aware of what our rights are and what our limitations are. They said, we're not officers. What we do is we are trying to cooperate with the police department. So if we see suspicious activity, because remember the KKK came back with flyers just after this rally. So they're saying this is more of a defensive posture to deter people from entering our community and showing them by virtue of our masks, by virtue of our guns, that you can't come here and we're not going to take this punchline down.
All right, important story, fascinating. NBC News correspondent and NBC News Now daily anchor Morgan Radford. Morgan, thank you. Good to see you.
Well, yeah, that's it. Those two clips. That's why I did play that first one, because they came back out and just spread them flyers in that neighborhood and different other neighborhoods within think it was 5 states. That's what we saw. But yeah, that it's crazy to think about. And I'm gonna say it again. I do think it's kind of disappointing that something bad or something outrageous has to happen for the black community to come together. I find that kind of upsetting, but at least it gets done when it needs to be. I just wish that it's always like that. Because other communities, they have no issue with helping each other. Like just for a quick example, they say $1 from a Jewish person that I would never see it. I would never see that dollar because within the Jewish community, that dollar will circulate to their businesses. So that dollar would just go to, no, maybe a Jewish-owned store. No, maybe like mainly just Jewish-owned stores are helping out a Jewish friend when like needing money. It's like it seems like just that alone, that's how they stay rich and they keep their money. It circulates within their own community. So I might make a video about that some other time to like dive deep within it. And it's like nothing racist what I'm saying because it's true. Like, no, if you can just look that up, like just look up the Jewish dollar within its own community. You probably see a lot of videos on people explaining it because it's not me being racist or just being like, no, ignorant or nothing. It's just actually true. Is there anything else I want to say before I end it? I think there's nothing more to say, but I feel like maybe within that, I don't think like maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like it's gonna take a while for the black community to not even rely on the government or police and whatnot. I feel like there's gonna be a time where they're gonna separate from that just because the unfair treatment and the limitations that when it comes to them, there's a lot of limitations of what they can or can't do. And I feel like just because of that, the black community eventually is going to break off into its own separate community within the US just because they are not getting help, they're not being treated as other communities would be. That's why I think that eventually they're just going to separate and protect their own. Yeah, protect their own, really. And it might even start like its own government or at least some sort of like unit like that where it's their own order. Let me say that. It might be their own order on how they do things like the US has. But that's it. Just let me know in the comments of what you think and any other topics you want me to discuss on. Or I can even do a live stream and then I can just have callers and subscribers on just to give me their ideas or what they think. Maybe they might prove me wrong or something about any other community or whatnot. But that's it, guys. I hope you all have a good one and stay safe.